Okay, so as it turns out, it looks like both parts did work. Hopefully this will all go through. It's my first time ever doing any type of video broadcasting. But, so what we're going to do is we're going to start to continue. Like I said, where we're at now, we've got the 4 motors installed, the motor controller on the lower level of the chassis, as you can see right here. And got all 4 motors, the motor controller. On the bottom, we've got the line sensing modules. We're going to set that off to the side here so we can start working on the next phase is actually working on the upper deck of the chassis, and that's installing the Arduino itself. The Arduino is very, very tiny, a lot smaller than I anticipated I would ever see it. But it is, it's very, very powerful. These particular have 14 digital ports. I think a total of 6 analogs. It's got a USB plug-in and a power plug-in. USB is utilized to power and program the Arduino. And then the one on the left is the actual power plug, which will be powered by 2 8360 batteries. So, I've got the cameras, different cameras set up. That's the scene 3. This is the other view that you could possibly see, and that's basically coming directly on my desk. Scene 4 is just the desk, and then we will also be utilizing my desktop space for the actual instructions. That's pretty cool. I didn't know I'd do that. Anyway, ADD moment, sorry. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be following along with this particular part of the PDF. At the very beginning, it turns out it did save Part 1, ARO5 Part 1, is that the CD did not work, but they do have it available online. I was able to go in there, download it. I already had it downloaded. It's password protected, but thankfully on the CD it gave me the password, so we were able to open up this PDF file. So now if we start taking a look, we got the Arduino is going to be screwed down to the base. And in the first section, the first part, I actually started doing this and then dinner was ready. So obviously, I'm a big guy with a big stomach. I had to go eat. So we stopped. But right before I stopped, I'd actually gotten so excited, I wanted to combine the input controller with the Arduino and get it all going, and then I realized you're getting a step ahead of yourself. You got to screw the Arduino down to the board itself. Now, if you take a look at the layout, we'll switch over to scene 4. You take a look right here, you've got 3 screw holes. Those are going to match up with the 3 screw holes like this. Okay, that's what we're going to work on next. Now it says to do it with the 12 millimeter hex screws. The U.S. and its allies are doubling the number of military prizes helping Iraqi forces battle ISIS in Mosul. For the first time, the Pentagon claimed U.S. forces are operating inside Mosul. Forces are moving in and out of that city. The U.S. military spokesman said the advisors are not operating on the front lines there. You know what? I think I already had it from this guy. Let's see what this looks like here. U.S. officials are telling Fox News. They say that President-elect Trump strongly opposes any
It's not right.
Turn it around, Jim. As I said in part 1, you call me Jim, you call me cowboy, you call me ugly, just don't call me late for dinner. Yes, I'm weird. What we're doing here is we're getting the 3 screws lined up. Put this guy together, and then we will put on the next piece. And guys with big fat fingers have a hard time. Ah, there it is. First screw in. As was said in part 1, look forward to doing this on a regular basis as I learn more and educate myself more on robotics. Robotics can be such an awesome, in fact, right on Fox News, right before we came on, the 5 actually was talking about, Greg Gutfeld was talking about a new robot that's going to be available. Why aren't you coming in there? This is why I had to get that one screw lined up. That hole is not lined up properly. You know what? I betcha. I know what's wrong. I betcha we had the acrylic popped up upside down. Go back like this. Yep, it's going to line up perfectly. See, there's a difference. These things are so precise in their measurements. And you can't tell the bottom from the top. Unless if you actually mark which side was they had the A sticker on. But now we're making progress and we're getting the Arduino added to the chassis. And I got one more screw. And the final screw is in. Looks like we still got one more left of this size. We'll see what happens. And when they gave us, as I said in part 1, tiny little screwdrivers that'll do the work. I don't have a lot of tools. I'm not a big electronics expert. Never have been, but learning. And I'll be learning as I go. I'll actually be doing my own soldering, hopefully in the next month or so. My son does a lot of soldering. There we go. The Arduino is mounted. Now we need to take that and we need to add on the sensor board. Now, again, as I showed earlier, these things are very, very tiny. Take a look. That is actually a very close-up picture. And you got to be very careful of each of these pins that they don't get bent as you insert it. So you make certain that you've got it lined up properly. Be very careful. I'm not going to worry about the damn camera right now. Sorry. I want to make certain that I don't short this thing out the wrong way. Okay, that looks like it's lined up. That looks like it's lined up. See? That's why you take it slow. Head it off by only one pin. That looks good. That looks good. Now we can firmly push down and get it connected. That looks good. And here we go. Now we've got the Arduino and the sensor board all connected onto the chassis. And that's what it looks like so far. Now, the next scene we're going to be going to is what? Now, infrared sensor receiver. That's going to go on the same. Coming over. It's going to be mounted right here. Delay. You're on a delay. And all you're going to see is going to get mounted right here. And it's got its own set of copper towers. And shown very easily for IR module. Screw made it in there. All right, so we gotta get the IR sensor out. Here's the IR sensor. This is what you're going to use with the remote control, which came with it. And these two together are going to communicate to help the robot move around, not automagically, but or autonomously, but just by via remote control, which I don't believe in because I think robots should be alive like Johnny 5. But let's see here. This guy should be pointing in. So we're going to take these first. Take these copper tubes, standoffs. Again, something for very tiny, tiny, tiny fingers. And there's the first one. Bring up the second.
Scarves on, V-necks on. Gold bond neck and chest cream. Helps improve skin's texture, elasticity, and youthful appearance.
Man, these things are tiny. Oh, that's the wrong nut.
Gold bond neck and chest. In the body lotion.
Too big.
For the U.S. Supreme Court vote,
Where did you go with there?
a chance to try to block any potential nominees.
These are just so tiny.
Are raising their own concerns over some of the conservative credentials on the president-elect's list so far. Chief legal correspondent Shane Green joins us now live with a look at some of their records. Good evening, Shane.
I want to misthread it. I'm going to back off the view a little bit.
Supreme Court nominee. Once we find out who that will be, Schumer says the GOP basically stole the Supreme Court seat left vacant by the death of Justice Scalia by refusing to move on the president's nominee.
This is where a pair of needle-nose pliers would come in really handy.
It's hard
I don't think I have any.
a nominee that Donald Trump
I know I don't.
get Republican support that we could support. So
You need to get some.
you would do your best to hold the seat open. Absolutely.
Hang on. Where'd it go? One screw.
It is not surprising the left would question Mr. Trump's eventual nominee, but there are growing concerns from some
Yep.
rights as well.
Yeah, we got good eyes.
Select groups and leaders have sent a letter saying we're worried about some of the candidates on the list of 21 potential picks Mr. Trump has released. Quote, we urge you to not consider candidates lacking a pro-life record. Several of these judges on the list have
There we go. Now we got it on. Hey, that's the smallest screw we're going to have to deal with, but it is, you can't, the video does not do it justice, but that is some tiny little nuts. But they are very, they have to fit in a very small spot. Now you notice, we go back and take a look at the actual documentation, we see that the sensor points out on the same direction as the power source. So that's what we're going to be working on here. Is we're going to bring this guy out. this guy.
There are really other excellent values on the list that have no red flags, and in fact, a very solid judicial background that would make excellent choices at the U.S. Supreme Court.
It will take 60 votes in the Senate to get any Supreme Court nominee past the first procedural hurdle, so unless something changes, Republicans will need some help from across the aisle. Brett?
Shannon, thank you. The sentencing phase began today for the man convicted of killing 9 black church members in South Carolina. And speaking before the court, the convicted killer did not ask jurors
Just
to
make it
swear
tight
his
enough to
life
hold in
in the
place
death penalty.
until I get the other screw in.
Reports from Charleston tonight on day 1 in court. In his opening statement, Elegoo made no mention of his client or his motives.
Okay.
Instead, the defendant
And this will be the
calmly
IR
told jurors he chose to
sensor.
act as his own attorney to prevent his defense team
Did I do it backwards? I did do it backwards.
Griffes insisted, quote, "There is nothing wrong with me psychologically." The same jurors who last month convicted Griffes in the 2015 massacre at Charleston's historically black Emmanuel
No big
AME
deal.
Church
Let's switch it
must
around.
that he should spend the rest of his life in prison or face execution. Prosecutor Nathan Williams argued for the latter, citing Griffes' racist motives
And
and
bring
lack of
this
remorse
guy
for the crime.
forward.
Williams read from a handwritten statement found in Griffes' cell a month after the crimes, in which he states, "I do not regret what I did. I am not sorry. I have not shed a tear for the innocent people I killed. I do feel sorry for the innocent white children forced to live in this sick country."
Alright, so here we go. I'm going to tighten down the IR sensor, and that part will be done. We're going to move on to the next phase, whatever the instructions say. And there it is. Now, go ahead and switch over here. And wow, we're talking about power already. Alright, so that is going to be on the top, okay? So you notice it's going to be shown just like this. We got the power, as I stated earlier, and then it's going to be coming back around to the battery pack. We've got a set of battery pack screws installed. Ouch! 4 cell box. Use cross screws.
Crime in New York City is down. According to data released today, the Big Apple had its fewest number of shootings last year and narrowly missed setting a record low for
Now,
homicides.
get the battery box.
Is at its lowest in New York City. The city's police commissioner says the numbers are the result of
I got a little bit of noise in there. I think I know what that is. I bet you that's the adapter that will go into the Arduino unit.
Trump administration on everything from immigration to the environment. And now state legislators have hired a former attorney general to help them do just that. National correspondent Lee Marginez from Los Angeles tonight on the man they picked to lead the fight. If Trump turns off the satellites, California will launch its own damn satellite. 2 weeks before Donald Trump even takes office.
Simple as that. God, couldn't have been any easier. So what we got is we got the battery pack here. There's 2 wires. These other 2 wires, I do believe, are going to go straight down into the motor controller. We'll find out here in a minute. But the one thing that I saw with one of the other videos when I was checking this stuff out before Arrow arrived was that there is a... You got to make certain that these make good solid contact inside. Let me switch over to the camera. And we've got red and black and red and black. We've got the red and black coming from the battery pack itself, and then this will also divert down into what I believe is going to be the motor controller. These are very, very tiny. The metal tips. You've got to make certain that they're in there secure. He was putting in the positive side, and one of them came out without, after he tightened it down, came without any type of tug. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to loosen these up. And take a close look. Positive is red.
State lawmakers say they'll pay Holder $25,000 a month to be a thorn in Trump's side, not unlike the role Texas played against President Obama. filing 46 lawsuits, winning 7, losing or withdrawing 21, 18 are still pending. The first
Tighten it down.
immigration as defiant state Democrats offer $80 million taxpayer dollars to protect 2.3 million illegal immigrants from deportation. An approach
And do a slight tug. See, they slid right out. So, stretch back. Try it again. Back it off. I think I need to put it down a little bit tighter.
The Dow gained 60 today, putting it fewer than 60 points from the 20,000 mark. The S&P 500 was up 13. The Nasdaq finished ahead 48.
Line up these.
President has a fighting chance to try to save
Certainly get the positive side again.
domestic policy issue. And law, we also have panel weighs in on that next.
Down and get a little bit tight tug. Damn it.
Trulicity is a once-weekly injectable prescription medicine to improve blood sugar in adults with
Okay, now it's nice and tight. Now we'll do the negative side.
Trulicity is not insulin. It should not be the first medicine to treat diabetes or for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not take Trulicity if you or a family member has had medullary thyroid cancer, if you've had multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you're allergic to Trulicity. Stop Trulicity and call your doctor.
Make sure this is in there nice and snug. And then tighten down this post.
Severe pain in your stomach area. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis, which can be fatal. Taking Trulicity with sulfonylurea or insulin
Tug.
increases your risk for low blood
Nice and
sugar.
secure.
Common side effects include nausea,
Now,
decreased appetite, and indigestion.
go ahead and stick the batteries in.
And dehydration, which may
But make certain it's in the off position.
If you want help improving your A1C and blood sugar numbers with a non-insulin option, click to activate your within. Ask your doctor about once-weekly Trulicity.
So, Mr. Harris, we have your fingerprints on the safe, a photo of you opening the safe, a post using the hashtag #JustWrongForTheSafe. So, what are we supposed to think?
Listen to that, I could save you a bunch of money on car insurance.
The other batteries. These are not flat tops. It came with it.
We needed to hire someone, but it was really tough finding people that have more experience.
We're spending half my day just reading resumes. To hire great people, go to ZipRecruiter.com and post to over 100 of the web's leading job boards.
These are the batteries that came with it. These are Ultra Fires 18. They're 18650s, but they are flat top and bottom. And I think that's going to cause a problem with the batteries that I bought. So they make a modification. Make sure we get positive and positive. Yep, and they slide right in. I'll have to work on that. Work on that later. And there's the battery pack. Now, no, we didn't want to do that yet because we wanted to pay attention. We got to mount it to the board first. Now, power comes around over here so that the plug is on the same side as the power assembly over power plug on the Arduino unit itself. So now we mount this.
The president's message was one of confidence, confidence in the Affordable Care Act, confidence in the humility that we have to listen to other ideas if they have a new replace something that is
You see we're going on this nut. Finger tight.
we shouldn't be opposed to
Nut.
that.
I actually live with a nut. It's called my wife. I'm going to get smacked later.
there. If you look at this map from USA Today,
But it's a loving
shows where
smack.
premium rate increases around the country, and you can see there's some above 50% states in there, but a lot of them in the 30 to 50% shading on this. That doesn't even include the deductibles that people are dealing with in their healthcare situation. This comes as the president-elect made clear his feelings on this battle. Republicans must be careful and that the Dems own the failed Obamacare disaster with its poor coverage of premium increases at the 116% in Arizona. Also, deductibles are so high that it is practically useless. Don't let the Schumer clowns out of this web. Massive increases in Obamacare will take place this year, and Dems are to blame for the mess.
ESPN.
Be careful is the warning on Twitter. Some people ask, why do you read all those tweets? Well, that's the way he's communicating. So we're reading them what's going on today. Let's bring in Charles Hurt, political columnist for the Washington Times. Mercedes Schleck,
That nut does not want to go on that way.
Washington Times as well. David Catanese, senior political writer for U.S. News and World Report, and John Gregory, senior editor at National Review. Okay, John, it seemed like the president went up there and said, hey, you guys need to stop this.
He's not playing well with other children.
What are they going to do?
This one will thread in there.
2017 miracle. I agree entirely with Senator Collins. I think he's absolutely right. This is a very difficult position to take.
And tighten it down.
Because
A little struggle there. And we're going to leave one of the screws out temporarily. So I can get another matching one. It's not threading right. But it will be in there nice and secure. It's not going to move around. See? Alright, so that's that guy. And then we got the power. Power wraps around and plugs into this guy. Just like that. And this guy, if I'm not mistaken, is going to wrap down underneath and come into the motor controller. So that's set. So, save those two, screwing that nut off to the side. That fix later. These batteries ain't gonna work. No, those aren't. I want to see this. These are 18650s. It's because of that top. They're not flat top. 4200 milliamp hours. Wow. Alright, well, here will have enough power to start off with, at least. Put this guy in here, make sure you get positive to positive. Positive, positive, slide the cap on. Technically, we could turn it on now and we would start seeing the Arduino board power up, but we're not going to do that. We're going to follow directions. So, switch over to the instructions again. We've gotten the battery pack installed on top of the chassis. We've installed the batteries, the cover, we've gotten the power all plugged in. We made certain that positive was going into positive, right? Look at it again one more time. Positive is going into positive, negative's going into negative. We don't want to burn anything out. And we move down to the next page. Okay, this is the servo that's actually going to move the ultrasonic sensor around. So, we're going to need 2 plates. It's going to be a challenge, getting those little tiny things off again, plastic filming. The servo. Oh, we take these apart. Huh? Oh, yeah, we get off the diagram. Well, I got the camera. But, yes. I got my producer here. She's now known as my producer. She should be the one flipping back and forth. So here we go. These are the mounting brackets. This guy is going to be seated down here, and then that's going to come up and hit on the, this is going to come up like this. Okay. Anyway, we'll follow directions. So, we're going to get this piece here, and again we go back to the buck knife, trying to get this to peel off.
It's probably not a bad thing, and I think that Trump is probably uniquely qualified to try to do that. Here is speaker relying on people potentially losing.
Yeah, that actually came off quite easy. I'm getting better at that. What do you know? Now we come and get this side. Came off nice and easy. Trash. Wipe aside. And what screws? SG90. That's the actual servo. Holder board. 10mm hex screws. 3x10s. 12 pieces.
The challenge will be how do you get from point A to point B. I think the easiest part of the task in terms of messaging is that most of the people listening to me
two cross screws.
and maybe stay on there. You might have to tell them that may not be true a couple years from now, which that's fairly safe. The question is, what do you tell these people who will get jerked around?
No, okay, so it's going to go all the way through like that.
In terms of their private, market plans, all these other
Why
things
did they do it this way? Sure, they had a reason. Yeah, we dump the screws in. What about the M3 nuts?
Taking ownership of this, if that's the risk, is tough. They have a lot of things out there. They have crossing state lines, opening up the markets, health savings accounts. They have a lot of plans, but they don't have one thing.
Ah,
There's only disagreement about
there we go.
keep the taxes in place among Republicans. We always focus on the Democrats. Republicans aren't unified on how to approach this. And I talked to a Senate leadership aide today and said, look, Mike Pence
Says M3 nuts, 3 of them, or M1.6 nuts, we don't need, and then 2 M2 nuts. Okay, so should these match up? They do. Okay.
I think it's a massive project, but at the same time, guess who has a plan? It's actually HHS cabinet nominee, former Congressman Tom Price. He's the one that pushed forward this idea of the fixed tax credits, of expanding the health savings accounts, ensuring that you can have the competition across state lines. There's a platform there, there's a framework there for the Republicans to start.
This is going to be another one of those situations where the fingers are just tiny.
In working with Trump to push forward something that would be acceptable to not only the Republicans, but the conservative Republicans who want to phase in, phase out quickly in 2 years as opposed to 3 to 4
There we go.
years.
Okay. So I know I need 2 of these pieces. And I just want to know where I'm going before we continue. Double check stuff. I need 2 of them, 2 of these. And, alright. So let's pull out the servo unit. And that actually goes all the way through. There's the top pieces. It actually got different varying things that you can do with the servo. And make sure we get the orientation right. So the servo goes back on the back side. And I'm sitting here looking at this screen here, and it looks like the servo actually itself goes back into the chassis. So just making certain I've got the correct layout. So what's going to happen is we're going to have this guy come down like this.
country that it's okay to twist the constitutional
Come
order
down.
without our constitutional amendment. And to go back to
Wait a
that
minute.
original fight and have that fight in public, I think Republicans can win it. And
No,
I think
like
they're
this.
on top.
That's what I was doing.
You're
And
making a
then
statement.
that's
Yeah.
going to come down like this.
Can Democrats continue to fight on every
Ooh.
issue, on every nominee, on every
This.
look? Chuck Schumer didn't mean it
Where does it
twice,
go?
right? I think a lot of it was for the base, to get them
It
out.
goes down.
I'm going to fight. He can't keep all these promises. They're in the minority.
Doesn't show it with the wires.
In the House.
You know, this goes like this.
And that's what I think their options are. Right.
Oh, you know what? I bet you this will work here.
He's not taking credit for that now, but he's saying that.
Pull it through.
The idea of this was the Democratic base, the donors out there who are still upset about this election, saying we're going to fight, we're going to fight on these things. We will fact check in 3 months and see how much.
Just like that. And that's how it's going to go together. So you can see, we got this plate here. Then the next level is the servo unit. That gets screwed down by itself. Faceplate comes on. Goes like that. And then we tighten everything down. So, we do the servo unit first. No, not that screw. What the heck am I going to use that thing for? I'm not going to be able to get my fingers around that.
That's why Chicago focuses on brand hotels and works very hard to find your ideal hotel for the best price. Hotel Chicago.
Want to save up to $2,700 a year? Want to keep food fresh up to 5 times longer? Now you can with the new Food Saver vacuum sealing system. With its all-new
Take this out. Get this out of the way for a second.
so sealing food is quick and easy. And with the handheld sealer, you can keep the food in your refrigerator fresh and delicious so much longer. For almost 30 years, Food Saver brand has been the leader in vacuum sealing and has kept the promise of freshness. The new Food Saver system.
And again, this is where the tiny fingers.
New year, new music. Toast to 2017 with hundreds of free music videos on demand from today's biggest artists and rising stars. Music choices on the pulse of what's hot in music. And every Friday, we're debuting the hottest new videos.
Happy artists is young and me. Hey everybody, we are DNCE.
No, wrong screwdriver. Where'd my other screwdriver go?
Make
There it
us
is.
your new music destination. Just go to Music Choice on Demand and select the brand new This Week category.
It's relief.
Okay.
Scratch relief.
There's the first screw in.
It's relief.
Let's get the other guy in there.
Medicated lotion relief. Bond moisturizers plus extra strength exfoliator will leave dry, itchy skin. Gold Bond.
I see what's happening here.
The delicate skin on your neck can show age. Or not. Gold Bond Neck and Chest Cream helps improve texture and increase elasticity. 97%
This guy in here.
firmer skin. Gold Bond Neck and Chest.
There we go. We got it started. Tighten it down. Nice and tight. Not too tight. Okay. Now, orientation wise, that's perfect. Nope, wrong way. Now, I'm going to set this down underneath here as a balance. Bring the wire through. And arrow's starting to look like arrow. Okay, now, this may be long enough? Nope, that's not long enough. But the other ones did not. The problem we're having is it's too high off of the board. You can see the separation barely see that. It's not making a full contact with the platform. I mean, it secures in, but it's not the screws that I'm working with. I'm going to make a little modification here real quick and try something. God, I hate to do this.
And the leaders of the Intelligence Committee pushing back against some of his tweets. Donald Trump tweeting during Assange said a 14-year-old could have hacked the Vesta while it didn't see some codes. Also said Russians did not give him the info. Then retweets Fox News during Assange on U.S. media coverage. It's very dishonest, more dishonest than anyone knows about the panic. It seems clear, Mercedes, that the intelligence community is saying, listen, wait till you hear before you go after
These nuts are actually what are forcing the platform to separate.
One of the problems with the intelligence community is the fact that
Elegoo has been making really good progress from their first units, but we'll take a look at that a little bit further later on. I'm going to try doing get this situated right.
Part of the team that basically said that this is not normal. This is not what the intelligence community should be doing. They should not be going public with this information. I think what you're going to find is that there is a chance that Trump is going to hear the words circumstantial evidence, the likelihood, the possibility that this happened, and he's going to need to make his own judgment from there. But Trump going public with this as well, I don't think is favorable.
It is important to point out the history of Julian Assange. And
Come on.
this is a time of London report on the WikiLeaks dangers back in 2010. Hundreds of Afghan lives have been put at risk by leaking 90,000 intelligence documents because of the files.
I had it in here. There we go.
Working with NATO forces in just 2 hours of searching the WikiLeaks archives, the Times found the names of dozens of Afghans credited with providing detailed intelligence to U.S. forces. Their villages given for identification, and also in many cases we found those names. Back in 2010, Donald Trump called that very problematic. Other people went further and said
I wonder.
they should be taken up on charges.
Yeah, look, we have 2010 Donald Trump. I think that it was
Well, those screws just do not fit.
the WikiLeaks documents can be truthful. I think we know that.
Okay, well,
ruining such a great platform by discrediting false information. It can also be true that propaganda is true. There's nothing in the definition of propaganda
screws
that
got to
says it's
hold it
untrue.
in there.
Julian Assange is an anti-American radical who detests this country, has said so in explicitly.
All right, we're going to figure this out. We'll come back with, I think it's going to be part 4 here in a little bit.